Welcome to the first episode of Refined by Grace podcast. My name is Sabrina, and in today's episode, I'm going to be sharing my testimony with you guys. It's very important that we share how we came to Christ and how He delivered us from death to life. So that's what this episode's going to be on today. And it's gonna be all over the place just because that's how my brain talks. So bear with me or leave me a comment and say, Sabrina, please be more concise, and I will be more concise. So I grew up moving around a lot. I had a military family. So I was actually born all the way out in Wyoming and then jumped around and landed in New York, and currently where I'm at now. And I have a beautiful husband and children, and that's like my little nutshell life right now. But it wasn't always like this. In fact, I didn't always truly know who Jesus was. I grew up Catholic, and when you grow up in the Catholic Church, there, at least for me, there was a lot I didn't understand and just wasn't interested in, to be honest. I didn't care for learning about the Bible or going to church or anything like that. My mom had grown up Catholic, so that's what she knew. And I got all of my sacraments. I was baptized, I got communion, and I was confirmed at 14 or 15, I believe. I can't remember the exact age. But after I was confirmed, we had some issues with the church that we were going to. So we ended up leaving. But the kicker with that was we actually never went back to any church for quite some time after that. So I spent majority of my teenage years diving into just anything and everything, trying to find some sense of peace and purpose. So I researched Buddhism and was really into that for a long time. Like, I had Buddha posters on my wall, and I did all the yoga stuff, and that I now know is just completely demonic. And I'll get into why in another video soon to come. But after that, I kind of just did my own thing. I didn't really stick to anything. I just couldn't. And I always believed in God, or that there was a higher power, but I never called him Jesus or the Holy Spirit or anything like that. Like, nothing from what I know today. But skip to when I graduated high school and was starting community college. I ended up meeting my husband. Again, still not saved at this point. So I'm very much in the world. I'm going out, I'm drinking, I'm smoking weed, I'm doing all these things, trying to just feel some semblance of peace. Oh, hello, say hi, Evie. This is my dog, Evie. Her name means life, like Eve, Adam and Eve. Again, we'll get into more stuff like that in later episodes. But yeah, so just finding all these things, or trying to find all these things to fill this space in me. And I had met my now husband at that time, so we had just started dating, and there was a lot of commotion surrounding how we got started. And because I was so in the world, I ended up getting pregnant, and I had our first daughter in 2016, and still very much in the world after her. But at this point, I'm starting to see that all these things that I'm doing aren't helping. In fact, they're making me worse. I was the skinniest I've ever been. My normal weight is like 130 and I had dropped down to 80 pounds. My anxiety was so high. I was experiencing stomach ulcers and acid reflux to the point where I needed to get on medication for it. And I then began to experience very severe ovarian cysts that whenever they would burst, I'd have to go to the hospital because they were so painful. So all that is happening, and I'm kind of at my wit's end at this point. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And at this time, so this was 2017, towards the end of 2017, my mom, great woman, love her, she started going to a church that I'm still currently at and was telling me about it and telling me that I have to come, I have to try, just come and see. And I was very resistant at first. She'd invite me and I'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe, and I just never go. And in February of 2018, I found out I was pregnant with our second daughter. And things were rough. We had already had 2 from his previous marriage in the picture, plus the one we had, and now another one was coming. So it was very stressful time. And in April of 2018, I had found out that he had stepped out on our relationship. And I ended up leaving and staying with my parents for the next few years after that. And it was once that happened, I started going to church. Prior to this happening, I had slowly started to look into the church my mom was going to and biblical stuff, or at least that's what I called it, biblical stuff. And it piqued my interest, but I still wasn't fully sold. I was very much convinced that I could handle it, whatever was going on in my life. I was made strong, so I could do this. I've been through other things in my life, so this is not anything that I can't get through. Lo and behold, it was definitely something I could get definitely something I could get through. Just I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own. She's losing her mind right now. Evie, sit, relax. Shh. Okay. Okay, all right. You done? Are you done? Can you sit? She's not gonna sit. She wants to play. Okay, not in a minute. We'll play in a minute. Here, ow. Anyways. So like I was saying, I dabbled in it multiple times and was looking into it, but never fully like immersing myself in it or really giving it a try. And then everything happened with my husband, who was my boyfriend then, and then ex-boyfriend. He has been my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, my boyfriend, and my fiance, and my husband. But I'm probably gonna cut that out. Yeah, so anyways, as I was saying, with everything happening with my boyfriend at that time and me having to leave, I was at the lowest that I've felt in a very long time. And my mom had again offered to bring me to church. Said, try it out. And there's a mom's group, try that. So I did. I went, and I can't even remember what the pastor was talking about. I just remember as soon as the worship music started, I started bawling my eyes out, because was the first time I felt the overwhelming love and comfort of the Lord. Sorry, my dog is being crazy right now. And I just cried the entire service. Can't tell you what he was talking about. Was just crying the whole time. And then after, I ended up sitting with some women who, I don't remember what team they served on at church. I do remember their faces though, and their names. And I'm not going to mention that just because that's... But I sat there with them and I cried and I poured out everything that I had been dealing with for the last 2 years of my life. And the freedom that I felt in that moment was unbelievable. I was still heartbroken. Obviously, I was still very much pregnant and going through that process. But there was this undeniable peace, knowing that I was no longer having to do it all on my own. Because that was very much something that I grew up thinking as the oldest daughter of 2 other siblings, sisters in fact. And when you grow up as the oldest, a lot does get put on you, a lot of responsibility, a lot of expectations and standards that you end up internalizing and realizing as an adult, I no longer have to do that, is absolutely freeing. But in that particular moment, I just didn't feel alone. And there's more to the story from then to now that I will definitely get into in other episodes. But that is my story in a nutshell. Bullet points, if you want to call it. I didn't know who he was, or I knew of him. Let's say that. I knew of him. He was an acquaintance of mine that I turned to when things were going haywire, and I tried to replace him with everything else under the sun, and he chased me that whole time, and he was just waiting for the perfect moment where my relationship was no longer my idol, marriage was no longer an idol, which was a process, but you know, what else isn't? He was just waiting, and that's just who he is. He waits. He stands at the door and knocks, and knocks, and knocks, and knocks, because he doesn't come in unless you invite him in. And saying yes to Jesus was the easiest yes of my life, but it's definitely been the most challenging journey of my life, and will continue to be until I'm home. Heaven, home. I am home. So I guess with this, my message is, if you feel he is tugging, if you feel a little tug, if you feel a little curiosity, if you have a random thought that just passes through your mind that has to do with him, lean into it. please lean into it. Even if you're a skeptic, even if you are somebody who completely doesn't believe in anything, why not? Why not just see? What's the harm? What's the worst thing that could happen? Because I know for me, that was a major fear. I was like, well, what happens if I say I believe in Jesus? Like, what's going to happen? Are bad things going to start happening? Are good things going to start happening? Like I had no idea. And the only way to fully know something is to just do it. And see how he surprises you and how he shows up for you, because he is a God that loves and comforts and provides. And he is just so kind. He is so kind. Yeah. Well, that's the first episode of Refined by Grace. I'm sorry if it was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I will see you guys next week for Refined by Grace. Love you. I am praying for you. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any kind of prayers. I promise you that anything that you say to me stays with me. And yeah, I love you. Bye, everybody.